Hi everyone, this video is about table. So the word amortization you can see over here, which is in blue over here, is describing a process of paying off a loan by regular payments over a period of time. And we have many examples like that in real life. For example, this Dyson vacuum cleaner. I took the screenshot from Mayer's website. You can see that it's selling for $1,199. But if you don't have enough money, what you can do is you can choose to pay it off for a full interest-free installments of 199.75 with this afterpay service. So by doing that, you're not paying off the money all at once. You're separating the bill into a numbers of payment period order. Now this one over here is an interest-free installment, so it's an interest-free payment. But for most of the real life situation that you'll be dealing with will be they'll have interest applied to the loan over there. So first, we're going to use the example that from the previous video, the question from the previous video to explain how to organize a amortization tables. If you don't remember which video that I'm talking about, you can pause the video now. So this is the question that we'll be looking at. So last time, what we're trying to do is we try to figure out what's the amount of money we need to pay after a certain period of time. But with a motorization table, you can have it structured in a clear way. So first, let's look at the first columns over here. It has payment number, and which is labeled as N. So if our payment number is at N, which means we decide we're going to buy this product, but we haven't paid any money yet. So you own the seller $2,500, which you can see in the balancing loan section over here. So this is the amount of money that you're owning. And when you're going to decide to make a payment, so that's when the first payment's being made, and you decide to pay the seller 509.42. The amount of interest that's been generated because of the loan that you borrowed is the interest times the principal, or times the amount of the money that you own over here. Okay, so you can see the interest rate over here is 0.625%. So when we convert percentage to decimal points, you're moving the decimal points 2 places to the left. And then you're timing the principal number, or timing that to the amount of money you're owning over here. So I'm going to highlight that in a different colors. So the amount of interest you need to pay on top of the money that you own is 15.63. Okay. So the principal reduction is you're paying $509.42, but only $493.8 is going to be used to pay off the loan, because the rest of it, this number over here, is the amount of interest that they need to pay. So after you figure out that, you're using 2,500 minus the amount of money you're paying for the reduction of the loan, then you have a new number over here, which is after the first payment, how much money that do you own for the seller. If you go back to the previous video that I have included, what you can find out is the balance of loan that we've got for each time are the same. But we actually solve that with a slightly different method. When I was solving this question in the previous video, what I've done is I have added the interest on top of the loan, and then I subtract it by the 509. So I include the interest as a part of the money that you owning on it here. But here what it has is it has separated the money you have paid. So one part of it will goes to the interest and the other part will goes to the actual loan. So um you can decide which way is easier, but here are some of the elements you need to include in amortization table over here. First of all, you have to have the payment number. So that's indicating how the time at certain time how much money that you own in order. So the balance of loan is very important as well. So the payment is for each time how much money that you would like to pay. The interest is at a certain period, the amount of the interest can be different. If the interest is different every time because of our loan as interest, then it's called compound interest. But for some of the question, you may notice the interest is at a fixed value, then we call them simple interest. So you need to have the interest section over here. And principal reduction is how much of the loan has been reduced. That's the principal. Principal is the money that you are borrowing. Okay, so principal reduction is how many reduction, um, how many loans you can be paid off by given the balance loan over here on top of the money that you own. So now we're clear what are the columns are talking about. What we have over here is a table. So we already have the amortization table being drawn out for us. What we need to do is fill out the empty space. Okay, so we know that this person takes out a loan of 5,500 at 8% per annum to pay for solar heating for her pool over here, and the amount of installment is paid every half yearly, and the amount of installment being paid each time is 1,500 and $15.20. So we need to complete the amortization table over here. Amortization. So the first question we have is what is the interest rate per payment period? Per payment period. What is the payment period? Payment period is half yearly. But what is our interest loan? Our interest rate. Our interest rate is 8% per annum. So it's 8% per year, but we are paying half yearly. So we can divide the time period by 2 over here because in a year we have 2 half years, so we have 2 payment period over here. So we are dividing 8% by 2. So in the previous questions, because the payment period is monthly and the interest rate we are giving is per year as well, so we need to divide that interest rate by 12 because we have 12 payment periods in there. Okay, so now we know that our interest rate per payment period is 4% per half year. And how much of the first payment of of 1,520 cents is interested. So this is a bit hard to understand, but what we can see is that it asks us to complete a table over here. So it's asking us how much money that we need to pay if we have already made $1,515.20 payment. Now here you need to pay extra attention because some of the students feels like, okay, so I already got a payment over here. So the amount of interest I need to pay for the payment number 1 would be $4,204.18. Now that's not true because the amount of interest start accumulated once you decide you're going to take the loan. So it's going to start from these 5,500. Okay, so once you're going to decide to make your first payment, you're already paying off the interest. So the calculation of our first interest is rather easy. Is the balance of loan that we have at payment 0 over here and times the interest rate. So times 4%, which is equal to $220. And then the amount of money that's been actually used to pay off the loan and stuff is 1,295.20 cents. Okay, so if when you're doing your calculation, if we add up the interest and the principal reduction, it should equals to your 1,515.20 cents over here. Okay, because part of this money is being used to pay off the interest, and part of the money is being used to pay off the principal over here. So part of it is the interest, part of it is the principal reduction. And the balance of loan is the previous amount of balance of loan take away the principal reduction. So that's how much money that we are owning from this time now. For after we pay off our first payment, this is how much money that we are owning. Okay, so let me move on to the next table, next column over here. Because the interest is only generated on the amount of the money that you're owning over here. So how do you find out this interest is actually 4,204.80 cents times the 4%. So that's how you find out the second interest over here. The amount of payment is a fixed installment, so it's still the same, and if we add this up, it will equals to so if I use the payment minus the interest is how much money will go off to pay off the loans over here. Okay, so if this is the money that we are going to use to pay off the loan, and here is the money that we're owning, then what's the new amount that's left over here is going to be 4,204.80 cents, and take away 1,347.01. And that number is equals to 2857.79. So after the second payment, this is how much that we are left to pay off. So in the third payment, the same amount of money that's being used, and the interest is becoming the new amount of money that we are owning over here times 4%. I'm not going to write it out, but the money should equals to 114.31. So now we come to the principal reduction table. There are two ways to finding out how what is the principal reduction over here. One way of doing that is we can find the difference between the balance of loans over here and over here. So if we do a subtraction from here to here, we know how much money that's from this payment over here are used to pay off the loan for the bank. Okay, and then the other way is we know that part of the payment is used for the interest and part of the payment is used for the principal reduction rate. So if we use the payment to take over subtracted by the interest, we will have the amount of the amount of money that used to reduce the principal. Okay, so we can use it by both method. It will give us the same result. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these two numbers over here. I'm going to highlight that I'm just going to underline that in green, circle it out in green. So here, why I'm using these two numbers, because these numbers over here is from calculations, and so I use these two numbers that's being given to me, so it saves me. I can guarantee that it is correct, and there's no need for us to pay attention for the running off error. So yeah, it could eliminate the running off error as well. So the answer over here is equals to 1,489 cents. So if we try the other method, I say use the difference between the two balance loan. We know that in the second payment, in the third principal reduction, how many in the third payment, how much money have been used to pay off the loan. So if we do the calculation over here, use the 2,857.79 and take it away from um and take 1,456.90 cents away from the number, we'll have the same answer. Okay. So by completing the table over here, we have answered from question A to D. Now we need to look at question E and F. E is what is the total interest paid on this loan? So to find out that, you need to add all the interest number together. And that gives me 560.78. And when you're doing this question, make sure that you include the units for that as well. F. What should be the amount of the final payment to ensure a balance of zero at the end of the loan period? So what it's saying is that if we look at the final payment over here, which is payment number 4, the amount of payment being made is still 1,515 and 20 cents. But you can see that the balancing of loan is negative 0.02. The negative numbers over here means that I'm not owning the bank money anymore. The bank is owing me 2 cents. So if we want to make sure that the balance the is going to be zero, so the balance of loan is equal to zero, we need to change the payment that's being made over here. Okay, so apparently that 1,515.2 cents is 0.20 cents is too much. So we want to pay 2 cents less, because we need the amount of money that we're going to pay is 1515.18. So we're going to pay 2,000 less to make it to be zero. Okay, so that is how you construct and complete a amortization table.